This is Katie with Homeschool Chat, Preschool Edition, and today we are going to talk about when and how to change it up. When to change the classes, when to change your arrangement. So before we are going to talk about show and tell, and we're going to talk about pretend and make believe. So let's begin. Let's start with show and tell. Show and tell can be a routine thing that you insert into any part of your preschool day. And my thought is that you can start with show and tell. That's a good place to start because the preschool child is really anticipating sharing. I haven't met a child that doesn't love share and tell or show and tell. Either one, same game, right? All right, so let's talk about stations and switching your stations out. So one of the great things about stations, I can't say enough how much I love stations. When you have stations for a preschool student in particular, you can have a series or a theme or learning point that you want to teach, and then when you're ready or when the child is ready, you can change it out. Now, how to determine how long to keep stations the same? It could be 1 month, it could be 3 months. Usually it's a 9-month year, right? You could change out your stations for the seasons. And what this does is it allows your teaching to be a little bit more balanced, and you can spread out your teaching to include things like so let's say that you're talking about fine motor skills, and you're working on your child is you're working on letters and numbers and writing and tracing. Then all of a sudden you have a station where your child has a dress-up doll, and then your child is learning the zipping and the tying of the shoes. That might be something that you change out. Maybe you have a station set up to imitate real life. You have a kitchen set up, but then you decide that you want to change that up and make it into a dress-up station. All of those things are good. All of those things teach different skills to the preschooler. So that's one of the reasons why I love stations, is that you can change it up, and it's very fluid, right? It makes sense, and it just becomes a new adventure to the preschooler. So what you can do is you can have your day-to-day routine and then just have 1 or 2 classes that revolve around stations, and then you can change those stations out. Or you can have, let's see, for a 15-minute class, you can do 10 classes in 2.5 hours if they're 15-minute classes. So then what you could do is, if that whole thing is a station and you're only working on one specific thing at a time, you could change maybe 1 or 2 of those out. So let's look at some examples of change. Let's say that you have outside physical activity play, or physical activity play, and you want to change that up to be more exciting for your preschooler, and also so that your preschooler learns different skills. So let's say you have a swing set, a teeter-totter, a jungle gym, a balance toy, a cornhole game. You have all of those things set up outside in your backyard, but you want to change that up. So then You might get rid of everything except for maybe the swing set, right? And then you put in a hopper ball, the rubber ball that has the handle that little kids can hop on. You put in a hopper ball, a water station, a sand station, a hula hoop, and a bubble wand station. So that might be what you change out. Let's say that you have inside physical activity play and you have stations set up. Some people would call it a circuit. Let's say you have a kitchen set, a homemade tunnel, a yo-yo station, and a ring toss station. Then you decide to change that and it becomes a dress-up station, an indoor bowling game station, Hot Wheel car station, and a sit and spin station. That's the kind of switching it up that I'm talking about. You can keep any station, of course, as long as you want. You're the teacher, you get to decide. Now let's talk about pretend and make-believe. Pretend and make-believe are very important because it teaches your child creativity and imagination, which is very useful for a lot of things in life. Raising children is one of those reasons, right? So let's see here. You can make a class out of pretend and make-believe. So think about the shows Mr. Rogers and Mr. Rogers' Make-Believe Neighborhood. Think about Captain Kangaroo and the Littles. Remember those little people with the little long tails? They, I believe, were in Captain Kangaroo's behind his bookshelf. They had a whole house set up back there behind the books. So you as a teacher can cultivate your child's imagination and creativity skills by playing with them. So what you could do is you could do puppets if you felt, whatever you're most comfortable with, but you could also, if you have a Barbie doll like house, you could take your child and you could play Barbie dolls, and it could be as easy as, I know that she's a ballerina doll, maybe she's going to put on a dance recital or something, but maybe she comes home and they have a celebration dinner at her family, at her dollhouse, and make believe that there is a celebration dinner. Action figures are good to play with. You have all of the superheroes, you have all of the Polly Pockets, you have the My Little Ponies, you've got all sorts of, even animals can be great little action, what do they call that, play sets. The Disney play sets are really, really fun to play with. Those little plastic figures of the characters from all of the different movies. What you can do is you can just take a doll, and it would be as if you're putting on a play or as if you're putting on a puppet show. And one of the fun things to do is to ad-lib, of course, which is what we're doing here. And you could do it in a way that's kind of like a choose your own adventure. So you could throw out a beginning part of the story. So that, let's say, do we have a little girl here? Let's say that we have this little dolly here, and let's say her name is Ashley. And you say, here's Ashley, and she wakes up in the morning and she sees the sun and she says to herself, and then you would let your preschooler finish the sentence. And then let's say you get further along, your preschooler said something like, today I'm going to ride a horse. So then you would say, well, hello, my name is Mr. Ed, and I'd like to be your horse. So then she'd get on the horse and she'd ride. Well, you to do that for 10 minutes, it's a fun thing and it helps spark creativity. And think about the, see, think about the careers that depend upon creativity. If you want to be an author, if you want to be an artist, if you want to develop video games, all of these things rely on creativity. So you want to spark creativity in your child. And if the only thing that it does is prepare your child to have to grow up and be an adult that's not afraid to pretend with their child, then you've accomplished a lot. So that is all I have for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten a lot out of it. Please check out my other videos at Homeschool Chat with Katie. Thank you so much for joining me and have a great day. See you next time. Bye.